This is a tutorial on my game, The Design Master. It targets graphic design students from middle school to college or anyone who wants to improve their skills in design. In this game, the players take on a role of a consultant who meets with a client who provides them with the details of the project that they need to have done. It could be a logo, it could be packaging for a new product. Players choose an assignment card that has all the details listed on it. They roll a die to see who goes first and the game begins. They make their way around a board that's separated into 8 design workflow phases from initiation to final approval. Level 1 teaches players about the fundamentals of design, the elements, principles, and compositions that are most commonly used to create layouts. Level 2 teaches players how to present and critique each other's work. Level 1 is packed with what are called breakouts, where players choose to accept or reject a breakout challenge, and there are 8 of these breakout points, 1 in each phase. Players can play level 1 only, and the first player to reach the end is the winner, or they can move on to level 2, where all players will finish level 1 and move on to draw out their assignment concepts in level 2. The navigation of the board is rather simple once you get a hang of it. The Alt key zooms in on objects, and the W, A, S, and D moves the table up, left, down, and right. The mouse tilts the table and moves it around. The scroll key zooms in and out as well. The Z key acts as an instant zoom when you hover over an object. The F key flips cards over, back and forth. The hand is used to pick up objects. The pen is used for drawing on the center board. You'll find the notes list the rules and hints. The cards around the table have more directions about various objects and plays. The game board is broken down, as I mentioned earlier, into 8 workflow phases. Players roll the die and travel around the board. In phases 1 through 8, they may land on an element, principle, or composition space where they have to pick up a card from the corresponding card deck and read it, and they have to answer the question correctly to receive 50 token points. They also get to keep the card if they answered correctly, and they'll use that card to create their drawing in the final draw in level 2. Each player who remembers to read off their task listed on the space they land on receives an additional 20 tokens. If they forget to read it, they don't get any tokens. And The purpose for this is to help teach players about the details involved in each phase. If they land on a star, they have a chance to accept a breakout and win up to 500 tokens, but they can pass. The risk of accepting a breakout is if you lose, you have to move back to the first space in the previous phase and pay out the number of tokens that was listed on the breakout card. So that could be up to 500 tokens. So it's a pretty high risk. If you accept a breakout, you need to make sure you're confident enough that where you're going to pass it. In phases 6 and 7, if a player lands on a feedback space, they either move forward to the next phase and collect 50 tokens if the team or client accepts the concept, or they move back to the previous phase and pay out 50 tokens if it's rejected. So landing on the feedback space, you pick up the feedback card, and that card will tell you whether the client approved or rejected. In Design Master, it's really good to play with more people, 4 to 6 people. I'm going to give you a real short, brief play between 2 people. The first thing we do is pick up an assignment card, and they're not secret, so it doesn't matter if the players see each other's cards. And my assignment is Clever Canines, and they need a logo. It gives the style attributes, it gives the colors that they prefer, and just a description of what they want. So this is my assignment, and I can start working on it and thinking about it now. So the first thing I'm going to do is roll the dice to see if I rolled a 5, and the other person's going to roll a 3. So I go first, and I'm going to use red. I'll roll the die, and I got a 6. So I move all the way down to the last place in the initiation phase. So at this point, I can zoom in, and I'm on a principal space, and I need to read aloud the task, prototype ideas, in the initiation phase. And if I don't read that out loud, I forfeit my 20 tokens. So I pick up 20 tokens, and I'm going to read a principal card. So I'm going to pick this card, and I'm going to flip it over, hit the Alt, and it says, I help to organize your designs and establish a hierarchy showing which parts are more important. I provide visual interest if you use me carefully. Try playing around with color, textures, patterns, and typography to accentuate me. What am I? And it is contrast. It is the principle of using contrast in your concept layouts. So I got this correct. If you're not sure of the answer, if you look in the notebook under hints, the answers will be listed here. So I get to keep this card and use it in my assignment, and I'm done with my roll. I pick up 50 points for getting my card correct, and then the next player will roll, and they get a 5, and they're going to move to space 5. This is the starting space. And if you notice, they've landed on a star, and that's a breakout. They have a chance to break out and accept a challenge. For the sake of doing this fast, we're going to say that she passes. She reads that it's View Client Examples, and she gets 20 tokens for that, but there's nothing else on the card, so she doesn't get a chance for the principal or element or composition cards. So then it's my turn, and we just repeat this. and I got a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I now have a chance to break out. I'm going to pass. The breakouts could be flashcards, like it could be drawing out a logo. You have 5 minutes to draw out a logo for a new pet product. You better be good at the breakouts because you risk losing 500 tokens if you don't get it right. You can get 500 tokens for getting it right, but you also may lose it. I read out define deliverables under the planning phase. And I don't have anything else on that space, so I get my 20 tokens for reading it. And so we pretty much go around the whole board, and when you get around to this side of the workflow, you'll see that there are feedback, yellow feedback. So it's a team feedback, and I have to pull one of these cards, and I flip it over, and I hit the Alt button, and it says, sorry, your concept drawing has been rejected. Go back to the first place in the previous phase and pay out 50 tokens. So this person has to go back to this phase here. If I land on this space here that is yellow, I can pick up a feedback card, and I flip it over, and it's actually, congratulations, your concept drawing has been accepted. Go forward to the first place in the previous phase and collect 50 tokens. So I'm going to move forward to the first place, and I'm going to collect 50 tokens. And you're basically using these cards to move along the board. Actually, these are real life scenarios of being accepted and rejected. And when the first player to get to this point, they've actually won level 1, if you want to stop at that point. If we're going to go to level 2, then there is no winner. Everyone wins in level 1. If the person is here, they must get a 4 to get to this space. It can't be a 6, it can't be a 3, it has to be a 4. It could be a 3 and they land there, but then it would be, they would have to get a 1 to finish the game. And then once we're finished, we go into level 2, and in level 2, we start the timer, and you see it's going to start, and it's going to run for 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes to draw out sketches. Then when we're done, we go to the website, and upload our sketches. And we're using this tablet as a viewer.